Yes, Dixon.
Okay, now it's really week 5, Now it's really week 5, so I happened to check the attendance. Okay, and I noticed that some of your friends have zero attendance, So it means until now they have not attended the class at all. I have the names, but I do not want to call out the names. So you know who are the friends, okay, who are your friends who have not attended classes, please inform them to attend classes. It's very important, because if attendance is not enough, then the faculty will not allow you to sit for the final exams. This is one of the rules set by the faculty. Attendance must be satisfactory. If not satisfactory, students cannot sit for final exam. All right, so I checked the system. In total, for these two sections, we have 57 students. If the system captured correctly, a total of 57 students. Some have deleted, probably they have submitted the form, but maybe not reflected in the system. Some continue, but they did not attend class. So that's the problem. That's the problem that you're having. So you have to let your friends know. Okay, it involves not only local students, okay, also international students. Both local and international students, there are some of them, okay, who have zero attendance, means have not attended any class at all. Okay, so please remind your friends, you know who are there. So today I'll continue with aggregate production planning. So we are still in this chapter. On Monday, I will discuss with you some of the options or strategies that company can take when they are doing aggregate production planning. So I think in total we have 8 strategies. So the first strategy is changing inventory levels. So this means that either we use up our inventory to meet increased demand, or we keep more inventory, okay, when the demand is low, so that in the future we can use the inventory to cope with the demand. Second strategy, varying workforce level, changing the size of the workforce either by hiring more workers or firing unnecessary workers. Third strategy, changing production rates either by doing overtime or giving more idle time to the employees. Fourth strategy, doing subcontracting. Subcontracting means we subcontract the job to another company, and the company will do it on behalf, okay, on behalf of that company. Next, using part-time workers. This is more for service sector, because in service sector it's easier to employ part-time workers compared to manufacturing workers. Okay, because in manufacturing sectors normally we require very specialized people. Okay, very specialized technicians and engineers to work on the manufacturing processes. Next option, influencing demand. Influencing demand means either you do advertisement or promotion to influence the demand, especially when the demand is low. Company can also do back ordering. Back ordering means you tell the customers to wait. Okay, you tell them the product is not available now, it's only available in the future, please wait. And if the customer agree, then that is fine. So that is back ordering. And then another strategy is to offer what we call counter seasonal products, and do service mixing. Right, so a total of 8 strategies. Now, these 8 specific strategies actually can also be recategorized into 2 broad strategies. Right, just now we have very specific strategies, 8 of them. So we can actually rename them, rebrand them, or regroup them into 2 general strategies. So these 2 broad or general strategy are known as chase strategy or the level strategy. So chase strategy means what? It means that we always chase after the production rate. We always chase the production. in order to fulfill all the customer demand. So chase strategy is actually a very proactive strategy, very proactive strategy where we always have to match our production rates. Okay, we always have to match our production rates, or we have to change our production quantities so that we can fulfill all the demands for each period. Right? So matching production rates or production quantities to fulfill demand forecast for every period. And to change our production rates or production quantity, either we have to change our workforce level or we change our production rate. I already mentioned changing workforce level means we either hire more employees to cope with the increase in demand, or we fire unnecessary employees when demand is lower. And changing production rate means we either ask the workers to do overtime if the demand is high, or we give them idle time when the demand is low. So this is chase strategy. It's a proactive strategy, and normally it's more favored, more preferred by service organizations. Okay, the reason because it's easier for service organizations to change their workforce levels, right? Because service organizations sometimes they hire part-time workers, so the part-time workers can be easily laid off, fired, compared to manufacturing sectors. And the second general strategy is known as the level strategy. Okay, it's called level strategy because we're trying to maintain production level at a constant level. So we set daily production as uniform. So regardless of what the customer demand, whether demand is increasing or decreasing, okay, we set the daily production at a constant rate. So daily production is uniform, so it's at the same level. So this is actually a passive strategy compared to the chase strategy. So you may ask, if the production rate is constant, how do we handle changes in customer demand? So in this strategy, the way to handle customer demand is to use our inventory or idle time as a buffer. So if demand increases, what we do is we use up our inventory that we have stored in the warehouse. We use that to cope with the demand increase. And when demand is low, company can also stockpile or keep more inventory so that the extra inventory can be used later, okay, to absorb the increase in the demand in the future. Same thing like idle time. Company use idle time as a buffer to cope with changes in the demand. So this strategy will lead to stable production because we set production as uniform. And when you have stable production, it will lead to better quality as well as better productivity. So this is one of the good points of using level strategy. I already mentioned a single strategy may not work best in practice. So you will see that in practice, some combination of strategies are normally taken by companies. So they call it a mixed strategy. So a mixed strategy might be the best solution for companies. So some companies, they change their inventory level at the same time, they may do subcontracting. Another company maybe bring back ordering, then asking workers to do overtime or give them idle time. Some companies may adopt a combination of level strategy with chase strategy. So in the real life, you will always find that companies combine different strategies as a mixed strategy in their aggregate production planning. Okay. So now let's look at the methods that a company can use to do aggregate production planning. So one of the methods is called graphical methods. So this is a very popular technique. It's popular because it's easy to understand, it's easy to use because we are using the graphical methods. And normally in this method, it involves a try and error. So try and error approaches are used, and because of that, it may not guarantee optimum solution. If you want to get optimum solution, normally we will have to do mathematical modeling. So it means that we have to model the aggregate production planning problem as a mathematical model, and then we solve it using some heuristic or using some software so that the software can generate the optimal solution. You will not learn this in this chapter or in this course. Okay, you will only use mathematical modeling. You will only learn mathematical modeling in a course called Operation Research. Okay, I believe you will take this course in the next semester, Operation Research. So in that course, you will learn how to apply mathematical modeling to formulate a model for a problem. And once the model is formulated, you solve the model to get the optimum solution. So let's go back to these graphical methods for aggregate production planning. So it's easy to understand, involve try and error because we don't use mathematical modeling, and because of that, it only requires very limited computation. So not much calculation, not much computation involved. So it's pretty simple actually. So to use the graphical methods, you will need to do all this. So first, you will need to know the demand for each period, capacity that the company has, and all the value of the cost. Okay, for example, labor cost, hiring cost, laying off cost, subcontracting cost, inventory holding cost, back ordering cost. So all these information you will need to know in order for you to do the graphical methods. In real life, you have to collect this information, or you have to ask the company to give you this information. In exams, the questions we will give you all this information. Okay, so in exam, in test, we will give you the information on demand, we'll give you the information on capacity, we'll give you all the cost elements. So the first three steps are actually given in exam. So what you need to do is actually step 4 and step 5 lah, basically. So given all the cost value, the capacity value, the demand value, your task is actually to consider, okay, to consider which option, which strategy to take when you are doing aggregate production planning. So in other words, you will have to consider whether the company should use a chase strategy or they should use a level strategy. Okay, or other strategies that I've mentioned. So you have to consider that, and finally from that, you need to select. Okay, you need to select which is the better strategy to be used. So how do we select? Normally we have to calculate the cost. We have to examine and compare the total cost to find out which alternative or which strategy is better. Is it a chase strategy is better, or is it a level strategy is better? So I hope you understand. And now let's look at one example. Okay, so in this example, there's a company. There's a company that manufacture roof. Okay, atap roof roof. So it's actually a supplier of roof. It supplies roof to other companies. So it manufacture roof and supply the roof. So imagine this company is doing production planning. Okay, it has a few strategy in mind. It has a few options in mind. So the company wants to know which option is the best. Okay, so the option could be a chase strategy, it could be a level strategy, it could be a subcontracting strategy, and so forth. So in this question, the following data are given. So the data on forecast demand, on expected demand are given. And you have the data for 6 months. So 6 months from January, February, March until June, and the expected demand, the forecast demand are actually given. So for January, expected demand is 900 units. For February, expected demand is 700 units, and so forth. And in each month, the question also gives you what is the number of working days. Okay, because each month the company may work different number of days. So in January, the number of working days is 22 days, February 18 days, March 21 days, and so forth until June. Right, so given this information, first we can calculate the total expected demand. We can also calculate the total number of production days. And based on this, we can calculate two important information that later you will need to use in aggregate production planning. The first is the average demand per day for all the entire 6 months. Okay, average demand per day for all the 6 months. So how to calculate that? is 6,200 divided by 124. Total of the forecast demand divided by the total of the working days. So 6,200 divided by 124, it gives us 50 units per day. So this is the average demand per day for all the 6 months, for the entire 6 months. And the second piece of information that you can calculate is the average demand per day for each month. So it's different. This 50 units is the average demand per day for the entire 6 months. Now, on top of that, we can also calculate this, which is the demand per day, the average demand per day for each different month. So how do we get this? How do we get the average demand per day for each month? We just use the expected demand for that month divided by the number of production days for that particular month. Okay, so 900 divided by 22, you get 41. 700 divided by 18, you get 39. 800 divided by 21, you get 38. So this is the average demand per day for each month. Okay, so now let's say we have this information. So let's say now the company wants to do aggregate production planning, and the company is using a strategy called level strategy. Right? Okay, so before that, we know this value, right? This average demand per day for each month. So if you plot this onto a graph, if we plot this on graph, we will get this graph here. So we have January, February, March, April, May, June, and the blue color line is the average forecast demand per day for each month. Right, we have 41, 39, 38, 57, and so forth. So we just plot the line. So 41 here, 41, 39, 38, 57, and so forth. So the blue color line is the average demand per day for each month. Right, so now let's say the company is considering different options, different strategies for their aggregate production planning, and the company now is using a level strategy. Okay, a level production strategy using average monthly forecast demand. So what does that mean? Initially, we have calculated the average demand, right, per day for the entire 6 months, which is 50 units per day. So now the company is using a level strategy, saying that, okay, I will set the production rate as constant, at a constant level, as a uniform level, equals to 50 units. 50 units per day for the entire 6 months. So this 50 unit is calculated here, 50 units per day. So this is a level strategy, because the company is not chasing the production. Company is not chasing or changing the production rate. Okay, so the company is maintaining a constant production level of 50 units per day throughout the 6 months. Company will not hire workers, will not fire workers. The company will not do overtime. Okay, the workers will not give extra idle time. Okay, the company will maintain 50 units per day for the entire 6 months. So this is the production level. Okay, understand the question, So in this case, how do the company cope with the changes in demand? For example, the company is making 50 units, but the demand is only 40 for January. And you look at May, company is only making 50 units a month, but the forecast demand is 50, more than 60, So I already said if the company is doing a level strategy or using a level strategy, then the thing that they will do is they will use inventory. Okay, they will use up their inventory, or they will stockpile more inventory to cope with the changes in the customer demand. Right? Okay. So this is the first strategy the company is considering, a level strategy. Okay, using average monthly forecast demand, which we have calculated equals to 50. And following cost information are given. Remember just now in the method, We need to know all the costs. We need to know all the costs before we can calculate the total cost. And once we know the total cost, we can then select the best option. So what are the cost information given? Look at here. Okay, make sure you understand all the cost element. First is the inventory carrying cost. You know what is inventory carrying cost? Inventory carrying cost is also called inventory holding cost. Okay, some call it a storage cost. So it's basically the cost of holding or storing the inventory. Okay, some people call it carrying cost because we are carrying the inventory from one month to another month. So all these are the same thing, carrying cost, holding cost, storage cost, they mean the same thing. So inventory carrying cost is $5 per unit per month. Okay, so it means cost the company $5 to store 1 unit of the inventory in the warehouse every month. Right? Okay, second element is subcontracting cost per unit. So the subcontracting cost per unit is $20 per unit. So this is the cost that the company have to pay the subcontractors for every unit being subcontracted to the subcontractor. So the subcontractor will produce on behalf of the company and the subcontractor charges the company $20 per unit. Okay, next average pay rate. What is this? This is actually the payment to the workers, the salary of the workers. Average pay rate is $10 per hour. So for every hour the worker work, he will get $10. So if the company work 8 hours per day, then it means the average pay rate is 10 times 8. Okay, 10 times 8 if the company work 8 hours per day. So this will be equal to $80 per day. And overtime pay rate is used to pay workers who work during the overtime. So the overtime pay rate is $17 per hour. Okay, this is for above 8 hours per day. So if let's say the workers work more than 8 hours per day, the worker is working during the 9 hours, during the 10 hours, during the 11 hours. So during that period, they will receive a pay of $17 per hour. Okay, in the normal 8 hours per day, they will be paid $10 per hour, but once you exceed 8 hours, the rate will be $17 per hour. And next, labor hours to produce a unit, 1.6 hours per unit. So what is this? This is like the cycle time of producing 1 unit. So it means that to produce 1 unit, it requires 1.6 hours of labor time. Okay, I hope you understand. And next one, cost of increasing daily production rate, either hiring or training. So this is the hiring and training cost. If we are hiring more employees to cope with the production rate, so that is $300 per unit. And the next one is the firing cost, or the cost of laying off workers. So the cost of decreasing daily production rate, if we lay off the workers, this is equals to $600 per unit. Okay, so any question on all this cost information? Because you really have to understand all this cost information, because if you don't understand them, later you cannot calculate the total cost. So let's go back to our first strategy. So the first strategy is level strategy. Level strategy, maintaining a constant or uniform production level at 50 units per day throughout the whole 6 months. So I already said, if we take the level strategy, the workforce size will be constant. Workforce size will be constant. No hiring of workers, no firing of workers, no overtime, no idle time. Okay, the only things that the company will do is to use their inventory. Okay, they will play with their inventory to actually absorb the changes in the customer demand. Okay. So let's calculate the cost. Okay, so let's work out this first. So this is for level strategy. So level strategy, we have to work with the inventory. So you have to work this out first. So over here, these are the data given previously, January, February until June. These are the number of working days that the company have to work, and these are the forecast demand given in the question. So these two things are given. All right, given here, number of production days, number of forecast demand. So the first thing we have to do for the first strategy, which is a level strategy, is to actually compute all this first. Okay, we have to find out the inventory amount. Okay, so let's do it. Let's do it, and hopefully you can understand. So just now we calculated the average unit to make per day for the entire 6 months is 50 units. Okay, at the same level of 50 units. Right, so if the company decide to make only 50 units per day for the entire 6 months, so in January, what will be total units that the company will make? It will be equals to 22 multiplied with 50. Yeah. All right, so 22 multiplied with 50, you get 1100. Right, so in February, since the company is making 50 units per day and the company works 18 days per month, so in February, the company will produce 18 times 50. Yeah. Right, so this is equals to 900, correct? 900. Okay, so keep calculating for March. What is the total number of units that the company will make, that the company will produce? 21 times 50, yeah? 21 times 50 is 1050. In April, the company will also make 1050. In May, the company will produce 1100. And in June, the company will make 1000. All right? Okay, so you understand this? Okay, so here are the forecast demand, what the customer wants. Okay, so now let's look at January. In January, what the customer wants is 900 units, but the company produced 1001 units, 1100 units. So it means the company will have an extra inventory of 200 units. Okay? Okay or not? The company produced 1100 units, but customer only demand 900. So it means the company will have an extra inventory of 200 units. Okay, so at the end of January, the company will have extra 200 units and the company will hold them or store them in the warehouse. So the ending inventory for January will be 200. Okay, what about February? February, the company produced 900 units. Customer only needs 700. So the company will also have an extra of 200 units. Right, and these 200 units later is then added together in the warehouse, put together in the warehouse. So at the end, the warehouse will now have a total of 400 units. Right, easy, right? Okay, March, the company produced 1050 units. Customer requires 800. So company will have extra of 250 units. So these 250 units will then be stored in the warehouse. So at the end, the warehouse now will have a total of 650 units. Okay, okay, April, anyone can tell me the answer? Customer require 1,200 units. The company only produced 1,050 units. Okay, so it means now the company does not have enough to fulfill customer demand, right? Customer only make 1,050 units. Company only make 1,050 units. Customer requires 1,002. So it means the company now is lacking of 150 units. So how do the company address this? How do the company fulfill the demand? The company will have to make use of the inventory, right? So it means the company will have to take out 150 units from the inventory here and use it to fulfill the customer demand, right? So once 150 units is taken out, so the inventory will only be left with 450, 500, 500. Okay, any question? Okay, what about May? Company produced 1001, customer required 1005. So the company is lacking of 400 units. Means 400 units is not enough. So how does the company solve this problem? The company will have to take from the inventory, right? So you have to take out 100 units from the inventory to fulfill this 400 units. So once 400 units is taken out, the company will only left with 100 units in the warehouse. Okay, okay. So I think some of you have mentioned the answer in the chat group. Okay, good. So let's do it for June. June, the company is making 1,000, but customer require 1,100. So shortage of 100 units. So to solve this shortage problem, the company will have to take out the inventory from the warehouse. So the company will take 100 units out from the warehouse to fulfill the customer demand, to fulfill all the customer demand. So once 100 units is taken out, there will be no more stock in the inventory. So the end inventory, okay, in June, the ending inventory at the end of June will be equals to 0. Right? Okay, so if we total up all this, we will get 1,850. Okay, so this means that the total units of inventory that the company have to carry over from 1 month to another month, if we total up, is equals to 1,850 units. Okay, so that is simple. Okay, what is the number of workers required to produce 50 units per day? Okay, so how do we get 10 workers? So look back at the cost information given, the raw data given. Every month the company is making 50 units per day. So how many workers the company need to hire every day? Okay, look at this. Look at the cycle time. Each unit requires 1.6 hours to be completed. Right? So if the company is making 50 units, then the company will need 1.6 times 50 hours per day. Right? So this is the total hours, total time needed per day to make 50 units. And company only work 8 hours per day under regular time, right? So if we divide by 8, 1.6 times 50 is 80, 80 divided by 8, so this will give us 10. So it means in total we need to hire 10 workers. Okay, any question? Okay, if no, then now we can proceed to calculate the total cost. So,
I have a question.
Okay, please ask.
Okay, for example, if the demand forecast for the January is exceeding the production, so how we do interpret that?
Okay, in this case, normally we need to have some beginning inventory. Okay, means before January, of course, you have December and November, right? So the company, of course, will have some stock in the inventory, right, in November and December. All right. So the company will use those beginning inventory from the previous month, either December or November, to fulfill the customer order. In this case, we just assume that there is no beginning inventory. It's that the company start from fresh. In January, there is no inventory in the warehouse. Okay, but in practice, that couldn't be lah. Okay, in practice, always there will be some inventory in the warehouse. So answer your question, right? Okay.
Okay, doctor.
Okay, so let's continue. So we already know that from here, total units of inventory that has to be kept in the warehouse is 1850. The company have to hire 10 workers. So from there, we can calculate the cost. So be smart, be smart because we are using a level strategy, right? Level strategy means that we only play with the inventory. So it means that inventory cost will be involved. Subcontracting cost will not be involved because we are not doing any subcontracting. Average pay rate for sure because you still have to hire workers to make the production, right? Overtime, no overtime will be involved because we are not changing the production rate, right? And hiring cost will not be relevant because we are not changing the workforce level, right? So use your common sense. Only these two elements of cost will be involved: inventory carrying cost and the production cost, which is the average pay rate that we pay the workers. So if you understand this, then we can calculate the total cost. Okay, maybe I I make it like this better. So total inventory that have to be carried 1,850 units for the entire 6 months. So the total cost will be 1,850 multiplied with 5. We multiply with 5, we get 9,250. So this is the total inventory cost, inventory carrying cost or holding cost or storage cost. Okay, what about the production cost that we have to pay the worker? So this is known as the regular time, payment to the labor. So we know that we need 10 workers. Just now calculated 10 workers. Every day, the pay rate is $80 per day, right? Because it's 10 hours per hour. The company work 8 hours, so it's $80 per day. So 10 workers time 80, yeah. And then in that 6 months, the company have to work 124 days, right? Okay, remember 124 days, we have calculated just now. 124 days, So 10 times 80 times 124 will give us 99200. And there are no other costs involved, no overtime costs, no hiring costs, no laying off costs, no subcontracting costs, 0. So we total up, you will get 100,000, $108,450, 108,450. So this is the total cost that the company have to incur for the entire 6 months if the company is using a level strategy by setting the production rate at a constant level of 50 units per day for the entire 6 months. Right? Okay. So let's look at the second option. Because we have so many options to consider, the company can always consider many options and then calculate the total cost and then see which option is better. So let's say the second option is this. The company is also using a level strategy. But producing at the lowest monthly forecast demand value. Okay, so what does that mean? Okay, if you look back at the average demand per day that we have calculated, this column here. Okay, the lowest monthly average demand is 38. Okay, so the second option is where the company now would like to set a level strategy, setting the production rate at a constant level following the lowest monthly forecast demand value, which is 38. So it means the company will only produce 38 units per day for the entire 6 months. Okay, constantly for the entire 6 months. So again, it's a level strategy, It's a level strategy, but then in this case, the company will not make use of the inventory. What the company will do is the company will do subcontracting. So that's the difference between option 2 and option 1. Option 2 is a level strategy, making the units at the lowest production rate. But then on top of that, the company is also using subcontracting. Okay, so this is actually a normal practice in industry. because the company will normally set their production rate at the lowest. Whichever extra unit that is not enough, the company will subcontract the job to another subcontractor, right? The company will not set their production rate at the highest, because if they set it at the highest here, then there is no need for subcontracting. Okay, so understand the concept. So the company normally set it at the lowest. So whichever extra unit which is not enough, the company will subcontract those extra units to the subcontractor. So for example, in January, subcontractor is needed, because you're only making 38, but the forecast demand is 40, right? In February, we are making 38 units per day, but then customer forecast demand is 39 units per day. So subcontracting is needed February. In March, no need. We don't have to use subcontracting in March because we produce exactly what the customer expected or what the customer wants. Customer wants 38, we produce 38. In April, we have to do subcontracting. May, we have to do subcontracting. In June, we have to do subcontracting. Right? So if you understand this, then now we can see how we can calculate the total cost. So let's look back at this information here. So you have to ask yourself, what type of cost will be involved? Inventory cost? No, because we are not playing with inventory. Okay, subcontracting cost will be involved. Payment to the workers will be involved. Overtime? No overtime. No overtime. No hiring. No firing. So it means only the subcontracting cost and the payment to the workers will be involved. Right? So we are setting our production level at 38, 38 units per day. So it means every day we make 38 units. Okay, we work for 124 days for the entire 6 months. Okay, 124, we calculated 124. So it means for the entire 6 months, in-house production will be 38 times 124. So for the entire 6 months, the company will only produce 4,712 units. Right? So what about the subcontracting units that we have to subcontract to the subcontractors? How many units we need to pass to the subcontractors? Okay, there are two ways. Okay, you can calculate separately month by month. Okay, there are two ways. For example, in January, you determine what is the extra unit that you need to subcon to the subcontractor. In February, you calculate it. In April, you calculate it. In May, you calculate it. June, you calculate it. Okay, you can do that, or you can take the average value. Okay, you can take the average value because just now we also calculated this average demand for every month. Sorry, every average demand per day for all the 6 months is actually 50 units. Okay, so it means averagely customers will require 50 units per day for the entire 6 months. It means in total we have 50. Okay, 50 units are needed. Company work for 124 days, so 50 times 124 should give you 6,200. Okay, so it means averagely customer requires 6,200, but the company only make 4,712. So 6,200 minus 4,712 equals to 1,488. So it means these are the extra units that the company have to subcontract to the subcontractors. Okay, understand? Right, so with that, now we can calculate the cost. Okay, regular time, labor cost. How do we get 75,392? So first you must calculate how many workers you need. Okay, how many workers we need to make 38 units per day? We need 7.6 workers. How we get 7.6? Okay, it's just like what I've discussed just now. Okay, to make one unit, you need 1.6 hours. Okay, every day the company is making 38 units. So in total, the company will need 1.6 times 38. So 1.6 times 38 hours every day. And every day the company only works 8 hours. So 1.6 times 38 divided by 8, this should be equals to 7.6. Okay, so 7.6 here. So it means every day the company have to hire 7.6 workers. Okay, and the company work 8 hours per day. So every day the payment to the workers is $80. So times 80, and throughout the 6 months the company work 124 days. So 7.6 times 80 times 124, you'll get this value, $75,392. And what about the subcontracting costs? We have to subcontract this amount of units. So 1488 times 20, because the subcontracting cost is $20 per unit. So 1488 times 20 will give us 29,760. If we total up, you get this. Any question? So that is the total cost for the second option. Right, no question, then let's see. I think there is another option. Right, so now let's say the company is using the chase strategy. Okay, a chase strategy, So what is a chase strategy? Chase strategy means we always chase what the customer require. We chase our production, we chase our production, we change our production rate. Not only chase, we chase our production and we change our production rate so that we can meet and fulfill all the customer demands every month. Right, so blue color is the forecast demand. So if the customer require 41 units, then our production rate will be set as 41. If the customer requires 39, then our production rate will be equals to 39. So we have to produce exactly what the customer wants. So that is the chase strategy. Now, to enable chase strategy to be done, normally we have to do this. Okay, normally we have to fire the workers. Okay, if we want to cope with the demand, or we fire the workers. Okay, if we have too low demand. Either we fire or hire, or either we do overtime or idle time. So in plan 3, we are doing this, hiring and firing, using a chase strategy. Okay, so understand. So if you are doing this, then how do we calculate the cost? So let's look at the cost involved here. What will be the cost involved? Inventory cost, no, because we don't play with the inventory. Subcontracting cost, no, because we don't subcontract our product. Average pay rate, yes, you need this. Overtime, no, because in this strategy we don't do overtime. We only fire and hire. Right? So it means these two other costs will be needed. Hiring costs and firing costs. So let's look at how we calculate the cost. Okay. So you have this. So every month, these are the forecast units given in the question. January forecast unit is 900, February 700, and so forth. And this should be our daily production rate if you are doing the chase strategy. Okay, because chase strategy means we have to produce what the customer wants. We have to chase our production. We have to produce what exactly the customer wants. So just now we have calculated the average demand per day for each month, right? 41, 39, 38, 57, and so forth. So this will be our production rate every month, because we have to produce exactly as what the customer wants, what the customer demand. So if the customer demand 41, we have to make 41. The customer requires 39, we have to make 39. Okay, so you understand that. So with this, we can then calculate the basic production cost, okay, which is how much we pay the worker during regular time. And then we also need to calculate the hiring cost if we hire new workers. And we also have to calculate layoff cost if we lay off the workers. Right, so let's start with January, yeah. Okay, hope you can see, yeah. So let's start with January. So January, we are supposed to make how much? 41 units per day. We work for 22 days. So 41 times 22 will give you back 900, right? So it means in January, we have to make 900 units. So what is the production cost involved if the company is making 900 units? Okay, anyone? How do we get 14,400? Okay, it's given here. I hope you pay attention. It's given here. The company will make 900. Each unit requires 1.6 hours, right? So 900 times 1.6. And then every hour, the company has to pay $10. So times 10. Alright, so to calculate this, this is equals to 900 times 1.6 times 10. Alright, that will give us 14400. Alright, can someone check? Can someone press the calculator and check? Is that correct? Okay, correct. Okay, so this is how we calculate the basic production cost for regular time. So 14400. Now, in January, no hiring is involved. No need, right? Because the company is making exactly 900. So assume the company hire the right number of workers ready to make 900 units. So no hiring is involved, no firing is involved. So total cost for January will be 14400. Okay, and let's look at February now. February forecast 700. So the company will have to make 700 because this is a chase strategy. So if the company makes 700 units, what is the basic production cost involved? 700 units times 1.6 hours. And every hour, company have to pay 10, right? So times 10. So 700 times 1.6 times 10, you get this. Right? Okay. Company is making less, right? Compared to January. So it means we don't hire, but we have to fire. We have to lay off the employees. So in February, we are making 2 units. We are making 2 units less than January. So let's look at how we can calculate the layoff cost. So the layoff cost here is given as what? Cost of decreasing daily production rate, which is the layoff cost is 600 per unit. Okay, so given the question, the layoff cost is not calculated per employee. It's not $600 per employee. It's $600 per unit. Right? So imagine for every unit that you reduce, the company will incur a layoff cost of $600. Right? Understand? For every unit that the company reduce, the layoff cost will be $600 per unit. And similarly, for hiring costs, the hiring cost is not per worker. It's not $300 per worker, even though we are hiring the worker, but it's estimated as per unit. That means for every unit the company make extra, okay, for every unit that the company increase, it will incur a hiring cost of $300. Okay, so look back at February. Look back at February. The company makes 2 units less, right? So it means what? Makes 2 units less means 2 times 600, right? 2 times 600. So this is the layoff cost. 2 times 600,002. So if I total up 1,002 with 11200, I will get 12,400. Okay, easy, yeah? Okay, what about March? March, the company have to make 800 units to fulfill all the demand. So the basic production cost is 800 times 1.6 times 10, you get 12,800. Right? So in March, the company have to make one more unit extra compared to February. Oh, sorry, one more unit less. Sorry, I see wrongly. The company have to make one unit less compared to February. So no hiring cost, only layoff cost. So the layoff cost is one unit less times 600. So you get 600. So 600 plus 12,800, if you total up, you get the total cost, 13,400. For about May, company have to make 1,200. So the basic production cost is 1,002 times 1.6 times 10, you get 19,200. Right? And in April, the company will have to hire more workers, right, to make the extra units. So how many extra units the company have to make? 19, 57 minus 38, 19. Okay, and you look at this, for every extra unit the company make, it involves a hiring cost of $300. So 19 times 300, 19 times 300 will give us 5,700. So this is a hiring cost involved. So 5,700 plus 19,200, get this. Okay, May the company have to make exactly 1,500. So the basic production cost involved is 1,005 times 1.6 times 10, you get 24,000. And in May, the company will have to make extra compared to April. Okay, they have to make 11 unit extra. So the hiring cost will be 11 times 300. So you get 3,300 as the hiring cost. So the hiring cost plus the basic production cost, you will get 27,300. And June, the company have to make 1,100 units exactly. So 1,100 times 1.6 times 10, you get 17,600. Okay, but the company will have to fire workers. Okay, they have to lay off the workers because the company is making less compared to May. In June, the company is making 13 units less. So 13 units times 600 give us 7,800. So if you total up 7,800 with 17,600, you get 25,400. Okay, so I think I explained enough, so you know. So if you total up, you get this total cost, 117,800. So now let's look back at our aggregate production planning. We have already done the aggregate production planning. We already set the daily production or the monthly production quantity. So for plan 1 is where we set it as 50 units per day for every month, following a level strategy. So constant production rate. So to absorb changes in demand, we use inventory. So we have inventory cost and we also have the basic production cost, the regular time labor cost. So total cost is 108,450. For plan 2 also level strategy. We set our production rate constant at 38, 38 units per month for the entire 6 months. Okay, but we don't play with inventory, but we rely on subcontractor. So therefore, plan 2, we have subcontracting costs. At the same time, we have the regular time labor cost or regular time production cost. Plan 3 is a chase strategy. So we produce exactly what the customer wants. We chase the production rates and we change it every month to meet customer demand. So because of that, plan 3 have no inventory costs because we don't play with inventory. We have the regular labor time cost, and we also have the hiring cost and firing cost. So if we compare these 3 options, best is plan 2. Okay, according to this question, the best is plan 2 because the total cost is lowest. Okay, so any question? Any question? Okay, there is only a minor part, some minor part to be continued before I can complete this chapter. Do you want me to complete today or complete on Monday? Okay, I can stop the class earlier. I don't really have to stop it at 1. I can stop it earlier.
Doctor,
Yeah.
or is it always the lowest cost is the best approach, or
Yes,
with
normally,
best,
normally,
or
normally the lowest cost should be the best one, should be the one that the company choose. Okay, because the company wants to minimize costs. Every company wants to save costs and minimize costs.
okay? Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, but of course there are other factors to be considered. As I've explained before, you have to also consider all the advantages and disadvantages. Okay, for example, if we always choose plan 2, then over the long term, it's not good for the company because the company always subcontract, the products to another company. So over the long term, all the, trade secret, confidential information will be disclosed to that company, to that subcontracting company. So it's not good, right? And normally subcontracting company are like your competitors, are the competitors of the company because they are making the same product. Right? You can only subcontract your product to another company who is making the same product because only they can produce the product on behalf of the company. And because they are making the same product, usually they are competitors. And if you always subcontract the products to the subcontractor, then all your important information, all your product specification, your trade secret, your copyright information will be disclosed. So it's not good over the long term. And of course, if you do plan 3 also, it's actually not very good because you always need to hire new employees. You always have to fire employees. Over the long term, I think the company will suffer more, lah, right? Because to lay off employees, it's not that easy. You have to compensate them. You have to pay separation costs, compensation costs. And to hire employees is another headache. Sometimes you just cannot find the right employees, right? Not to say you hire the employee will come tomorrow. It's not like that. Sometimes the company have to wait for months and months before they get the right employees. And hiring involves costs, as I said before. Once you hire new employees, you have to train them. So training cost is involved. And of course, company can do overtime. Okay, but overtime also over the long term is not good because employees will get very, very exhausted. Okay, once they are exhausted, it will affect the morale and the productivity of the other employees. Okay, and plan 1 also I would not say is the best, because plan 1 relies on inventory. Okay, it means you always have to keep a lot of safety stock in your warehouse. So keeping too much safety stock is very, very costly, sometimes. Okay, because of, as I said, because of insurance costs, storage costs, material handling costs. These are unnecessary costs that the company have to pay if they keep too much or too many inventory in the warehouse. So therefore, if you look at the table here, every strategy has their own advantages and disadvantages. So you really have to see which strategy suits the company best. And as I said many times before, a single strategy may not work. You need to combine strategy. So a mixed strategy will always works better. Okay, in the reality. Right, so we are only left with this part here. This part is also very simple. Okay, maybe I can continue on Monday rather than now. Okay, it's very short. So Monday I will finish this off. And then on Tuesday you will have your test 1. Okay, test 1 at 2 p.m. So make sure everyone knows about this. I already reminded this in the WhatsApp group. I will send another reminder, okay, in this weekend. Now, the thing with online test is we cannot have retest if you are absent. Because it's online test. Question will be leaked. Okay, so we cannot have a retest. So make sure everyone attend the test. Okay, if you don't attend the test, there will be no retest for you. Okay, that's why setting a date where everyone agrees, where everyone can attend the test is very important. So we have already agreed. Test 1 will be on Tuesday, 2 p.m. So everyone must attend the test. If you are absent, then we will not do any retest. Test 1 will be done through e-learning system. Okay, as I said, it's only a test. So I'm okay to use the e-learning system. So I will disclose the question through the WhatsApp group. That is the fastest. I will share the question through WhatsApp group. But of course, the question is password protected. So when the time comes, I will release the password. So you guys do it, okay? And then scan your answers into a PDF file, and then you upload your answers to the e-learning system. So submission of answers is through the e-learning system. It's not through Google Form. It's not through email. It's through the e-learning system. So make sure everyone knows how to access their e-learning system. Make sure you know your username and password. Okay, I don't want last minute you tell me you cannot access e-learning because you forgot your password. Okay, this normally happens to students who have never accessed e-learning before. Okay, so any other things that you want to discuss? If not, I can end the class earlier today.
Doctor, about the
Yep.
interim report, do we need to submit individually or just one person from the group?
Okay, actually there is not an interim report for a group project. It's a brief report. It's the first report, which is the brief report. So the intention of this report is just to look at the feasibility of your project. Okay, I just want to look at your team members. Okay, later I will compare whether the team members are balanced or not. Okay, I don't want some to have 4, some to have 5, some to have 3. I already said set to 5. Okay, so all the members, okay, in a team should total up to 5. Okay, unless for the last 1 or 2 groups. Okay, except for the 1 or 2 groups. Okay, because we don't have the enough number of students, okay, to have each group 5 students, 5 students, 5 students. Okay, we have 57 students. I checked the system. Okay, so it's not an even number, it's an odd number. So maybe the last 2 groups, we need to have, I don't know, 4 members per group, or maybe 6 members per group. Okay, so the intention of the report is to check all this, to check your title, to check the company, whether the company you're working with, your case company, is it good or not. Okay, and of course to look at your objective, whether it's feasible or not. Okay, this is what I want to check. So it's not an interim report. Interim report you submit later. Okay, I forgot the date. You read the group project question, it's written in the question when you have to submit your interim report. So you have to submit 3 things. Submit a brief report by 21st April. I remember 21st April. Interim report, I forgot the date. Either earlier June or end of May, I forgot. And then after that, there will be the final report submission. Okay, the date for the final report submission is also written in the question. So please refer to the question. Only the group project leader has to submit it. Okay, submit through e-learning. Only the group project leader has to submit the brief report. Only the group project leader has to submit the interim report as well as the final report. So it's clear here. Okay, any other question?
I want to ask question for
Yeah, go ahead.
proposal. Okay, there is this one section called the rationale for selection. Means that the reason why we choose the company. Do we need to contact the company to know the problem that they are having, or
Yeah, you have to.
we can just
Okay,
we
by right, by right, you have to do that. Okay, you have to really visit the company and see what problem they have, and you help them to solve their problem. Okay, I know you may not be able to solve their real problem, but through that project, we hope that you can propose something through the methods that you learn in this course, and hopefully that proposed method will help the company a little bit in making their production better. Right? So you should be dealing with a real problem, not a fake or hypothetical problem. That's why finding a case company is important.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so you guys will have to plan how to visit the company. Okay, I know some of you are scattered around. Some are at hometown, some are in JB, some are in Indonesia, some are in Arab Saudi. So you guys will have to settle that. You guys will have to fix out a solution how to work on that. Okay, maybe not all can visit the company, but at least majority of the group member can visit the company. So the one who cannot visit the company then will have to do extra when they write the reports. Okay, for example. Right? So visit to the company, I would say it's a must. You really have to visit the company, get in touch, know the problem. Okay, so that from there you can select the right problem to work with. Okay, but later when you want to collect the data, that one I think I can give you more flexibility. When you want to collect the data, maybe you can ask the company to email you or to estimate the data for you. Okay, this one I'm fine. Okay, or if the company allows, you can go to the company, spend the whole day there collecting the data. No problem at all. If the company allows. Right? So if you can go there face to face and collect the data, better. Okay, very much encouraged. But of course, I also understand you have a lot of constraints. So if that is not possible, then fine. Okay, you can ask the company to email you the data or to estimate the data for you. Okay, but what I want is there must be at least a visit to the company so that everyone knows what the company is doing, and from there I want you to find the problem. Okay, to be solved.
Data from what or something?
Yes, Amirul? Okay, Amirul, you ada soalan kan?
Yeah.
Okay, sila tanya.
So kita cannot use macam data from annual report or dia punya forecast.
Okay, boleh. As I said, okay, data collection wise, you can do, as I said, you can ask from the company to give you. Okay, they can email you, send you. You can check their documentation. You can obtain from their documents, or you can collect it in person. That one I have no problem. So the answer is yes. If you want to do forecasting and the company have published their, demand value yearly or monthly in whatever reports they have, to me it's okay.
So if we have that kind of data, no need to go to the company, yeah?
You have to, because you read the question, you have to solve three. You can work on three problems, not only one. Okay, you ada baca soalan tak? You read the question, okay? You have to work on three separate topics. So it means you have to help the company to look at three different problems and propose something better for them. Okay, scheduling is a must. Okay, so scheduling can be combined with forecasting, or it can be combined with aggregate production planning. No problem. But scheduling must be one of the technique that you use, and it must be one of the problem that you're solving. Okay, so dah jawab soalan, So soalan dia mesti visit company. So later you may want to attach your proof of visiting the company in your report also. Okay, for example, a group photo between all of you with the manager. Okay, for example, okay, if the company doesn't allow you to take photo of the factory, don't take that because it's confidential. But then somewhere outside the factory or at the main entrance of the factory or at the lobby of the factory, you can take a group photo with the person in charge.
Doctor, I have a question. Should be the company in Malaysia?
For international students, no need. Okay, because I understand. Okay, if you're still in Indonesia, then how can you find a company in Malaysia, right? So if let's say all of you are still in Indonesia, okay, I notice I think there is not to say majority, a number of you from Indonesia, and you're still in Indonesia, right? If you're still in Indonesia, then I have to allow you to get a company from Indonesia.
Sure, thank you, Doctor. Also, Doctor, I have a last question. Should it be a physical meeting, or we can set a meeting through Google Meeting? Or
Okay, back to my answer just now. Anyhow, you still have to visit the company at least once. Okay, as I say, anyhow, you must visit the company once to really see their processes. Because if you don't visit, you learn nothing. You must go and spend time in the company there, okay, to observe their processes and to find the problem that you want to work with. Otherwise, you learn nothing in the group project. So a physical visit for once is compulsory. Okay, so back to your question, can you do online meeting? That one is for second meeting, third meeting, or fourth meeting. If for the second, third, fourth meeting, you want to have online meeting with the company, no problem. Okay, answer your question, clear?
Doctor,
Yep.
should be manufacturing, like restaurant can,
Oh, restaurant
yang
possible.
ada daily output
Okay,
dia punya.
possible. As I said, possible. But you will have to justify in your brief proposal. I need to read it. Because I need to look at the problem that you're solving. Okay, because service restaurant, you're talking restaurant, so restaurant scheduling, I don't know, you're trying to schedule what? Schedule the workers in the kitchen. You see, I have to know all this background first before I can say yes or no. Okay, forecasting. Okay, forecasting, maybe you can do. The rest, okay, you have to think about it, capacity planning, break-even analysis. Okay, so service sector is possible. I'm not saying no. Okay, but then the problem that you are solving has to be good enough, okay, has to be at acceptable level, acceptable standard. Okay, not too simple, not too simple. Another concern is if you do service sector, then one of my worry is what you learn in the course may not be very helpful. Okay, because what you learn in the course, the techniques that you learn, the techniques that I teach are mostly for manufacturing. They can be applied to service, some of them, okay, but not all of them. But you have no choice, then I have to allow you Okay, maybe you told me you have tried contacted more than 10 manufacturing companies and none of them accept you. So you have no choice. You have to work on the service company. If you can justify like that, then should be okay. Okay, I'm very worried. I don't know whether all of you read the project question or not. Read the project question. Read the project question. Project question has specified clearly what you need to do. Okay, step by step. It even give you an example of the format of the report. So you have to go to e-learning, download the question and read it. Okay, one thing that you remember, everyone has to submit reflection through the e-portfolio. Okay, UTM has a system which is called e-portfolio system. So we are encouraging every student to write down their reflection in the e-portfolio. Okay, reflection means you have to reflect. Okay, what you have learned in the group project. Is the group project beneficial to you? Has it helped you in developing your skills? Okay, has it helped you to improve your knowledge? Okay, do you feel happy about it? Are your teammates cooperating? If your teammates are not working together, you feel frustrated, then all this you can write in the reflection. Okay, and the reflection will be graded, will be given marks. I'm not sure whether you have used the e-portfolio system or not. I hope you have used it before, because I think in year 1, year 2, you have some subjects that requires you to use the e-portfolio system. So if you do not know how to use the e-portfolio system, then please start finding it out. Okay, please explore now how to use it. Okay, now how to submit your reflection? You just have to copy and paste the link. You just have to copy and paste the link in your report. That's it. Okay, you don't have to copy and paste your reflection in the report. Okay, the reflection, you write it in the online system. Okay, once you submit it, there's a link, right? Then you just copy and paste the link in the report. And when I receive the report, I'll just click the link to read your reflection. Okay, reflection doesn't have to be long, don't worry, 1 paragraph will do. Okay, just reflect. Okay, reflect about this course. You can also reflect about what I teach in the class. Okay, is it good or bad? Okay, you can also reflect on the online class itself. Okay, okay, any complaints that you want to raise up to me, you can write in the reflection. Okay, or any compliments that you want to give, you can also write in the reflection. Okay, chat, there is one question. Okay, is e-commerce acceptable? Okay, you have to tell me more what the company is doing. Okay, e-commerce is so large. What exactly the company is doing? Okay, you want to tell me now, or you want to write in the report? Retail sales on Shopee. Okay, so what topic can you do for retail sales on Shopee? So will you be able to visit the shop? First, you have to make sure you are able to visit the shop, even though the company sells online. Okay, what if the company say it doesn't have a shop? Everything is done online. Okay, forecast, one of them. Other topics? Okay, have retail store, should be able. Okay, fine. If they physically have a store, then you can visit the store. Okay, fine. But you have to think about the topic that you need to do. Forecast, one of them, but what about the other two? Okay, so discuss with your team members. Antiques and gift shops. Okay, so you tell me you will do forecasting again, right? Okay, forecasting again, but what about the other two topics? Because in total you have to do 3. So discuss back with your team members. The best is to have a manufacturing company. The best, I don't know why you guys don't want to work on manufacturing companies. Go for those small manufacturing companies, those workshop or job shop that make customized products. For example, machining shop or metal production shop. We have a lot of this small scale factory in Taman Yu. Right, in Taman Yu, I think opposite Jasco or behind Jasco, we have a lot of this kind of small factories. So if you're in JB, then just go there. Find one of the job shop or workshop as your case study. That will be more relevant compared to doing antique and gift shop and things like that. Okay. Any other question for test 1 for group project? Okay, I'll need to read your brief report first that you need to submit by 21st. So after I read it, if you have things to discuss, then I will discuss with the group again. Okay, now I cannot comment much because I have not read the report. Once I've read it, I will be able to discuss more with you. If I find that a particular group has a problem, here, for example, the case study is not suitable or other problems, then I will raise this up during the class. That's one, I already said, only 3 topics are covered. The first topic, introduction, and then second topic, forecasting, third topic, capacity planning. Aggregate planning is not included in test 1. So please take note. Okay, this question here from Fatin. Doktor, test 1 sampai pukul berapa? Sampai pukul 4 kah? Okay, tak sampai pukul 4 lah, jangan risau. Okay, as I said, test 1 will be a very simple test. I'm just allocating 20 minutes for each question. So by the 40 minutes, you should already be able to complete both the questions. Okay, so 20 minutes for question 1, 20 minutes for question 2. So 40 minutes done, and then the rest of the time I'll give you to submit the answer through the e-learning system. So it will not take up to 2 hours. We start at 2 p.m. Hopefully before 3, everyone has already submitted through the e-learning system. Okay. I think every lecturer will also remind you on this regarding test and exam. So please do not copy. Please do not discuss. It's a test. Okay, you have to be very, very careful on this. Now, although I'm very lenient, I think everyone knows that I'm very lenient. Okay, but I'll still take actions if students copy during tests or exams. Okay, if there are 2 sets of, for example, this is a clear-cut evidence. If 2 sets of answers similarly wrong, then I'll give 0 already. Because it's a clear-cut evidence that both of you copy. Okay, got it? If you give me the wrong answer, same as your friend, wrong answer, both 2 sets wrong answer means copy straight away 0 already. Okay, and if there are more serious cases, then the cases will be brought up to the faculty. Okay, and then the faculty will have interview with you like last time lah. Those taking fluid mechanics, thermodynamics, the whole class will be interviewed, and then you know what happened lah? They will fail you and then ask you to retake the subject. In more serious cases, they will fail all your subjects. And in more serious cases, they will terminate you from the university. Okay, so it's an online test. So all of you has to be honest. Okay, it's a test. Do your own job. Do not copy. Do not discuss with your friends. Right, so no other question, then let's stop here. And I'll still see you on Monday. Monday I will talk about this transportation method, which is a very short topic. We'll discuss this on Monday, and then Tuesday we have test. Wednesday I will let you off. Okay, Wednesday there will be no class next week because actually the time on Wednesday is allocated for the test. Okay, since we have taken Tuesday to do test 1, then Wednesday I can let you off. Okay, so if those that have no tests on Wednesday and Thursday, then it means you can go back already for your Raya. Okay, but I think unfortunately you have a test on Wednesday, right? Applied numerical methods, if I remember correctly. Okay, but it's okay. Wednesday I free you off, then you can use that time to study for your applied numerical methods. Okay, so let's stop here and see you on Monday, Monday 4 p.m.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay, see you guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.